a strong believer into the delicate balance that includes goal setting, planning, and execution/action in terms of achieving the success or reaching the goal that you set for yourself. You have to have a vision. You have to have a direction. And one of the quotes I really love repeating to myself is that the universe cannot hit a moving target. It's nice to visualize what you want. It's nice to have a plan, but at the same time, you also need to take action. And there's no if, and, or buts about it. In my own personal experience, I truly do believe that there is one thing about voicing your intent into the universe, but also putting in the work, rolling up your sleeves, and doing what needs to be done in any way, shape, or form to make it happen. Because if it matters enough to you, chances are you'll make it happen. I was having this conversation with a friend, and we were basically going back and forth in terms of the importance of not just affirming what it is that you want, but I was very strong about the fact that a lot of people say that they want something, but do they really want it enough to actually do what needs to be done to get it done? Which is why I wanted to invite my friend Stéphane Bazin, successful photographer and notable entrepreneur, a guy who I really trust with both his insight and his genuine warm heart, a guy of both wisdom, knowledge, and terrific humor, friend and collaborator. Haven't had him on the podcast since episode 4, but it's a gem to actually have him back and be able to share our little insights together. A really fun conversation, which I hope you'll enjoy as well. So, without further ado, my conversation with Stéphane Bazin. Awaken the Awesome. Let's do this. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Like, seriously. First of all, it was a good excuse actually for us to reconnect. So thanks for being here. Like, seriously, because, we haven't recorded since episode 4. So, God knows, like, you and I have both had, our fair share of stuff that happened. So it's nice to catch up. But also, what I really want to connect with you tonight is really because, like, I've been doing a lot of, like, reading and, connecting with various entrepreneurs and people who are actually doing awesome stuff. And I keep seeing a recurring theme around people, because you read a lot and everybody puts out the message of, like, I want to do better. What's the next chapter? I want to get further. And I want to have you on because you're an entrepreneur. You're doing your thing. You know about the grind, and you're definitely, like, dedicated individual if there was none. And the thing is, I keep coming back is because, like, why is it that people always seem to forget the fact that success, whatever success is for you, a lot of people seem to forget that success is not just a destination, it's a marathon. You got to keep the grind. It seems like everybody wants the reward, but none of the work that goes with it. And I thought that was something you'd have a good opinion on, since you know a thing or two about the grind. Is it me, or is, like, a lot of people forget there's actual work that goes into, like, a successful path?
Well, if we go, let's start from the root. First of all, what is success in general? We'll do it like the old school part. First of all, success might not be what you desire, what success for you is. So we might have to on that. But short answer before we get to the long answer, it's the internet, man, especially social media. That's what making things difficult, and people think that success is just, today I start and tomorrow I should have results, because that's what they're seeing on the internet, and it's totally not true. That's what's going on.
Where do we get that? You would think that, the logical part is to know that, it's a process, and there's, like, you can't just walk into the game and just, like, hey, okay, here are the 1 million followers, here's the money, here's the next contract, here's that $1 million campaign. Like, where does that mentality come from? I just don't get it.
Well, the thing is, if you see everything on social media or the internet so much, you actually think that anyone that you follow and that is more or less successful, you actually think because they started, like, I would say a few months ago or about a year ago, they just started whatever they started. For example, let's just take the example of Instagram, because they just started to have a bunch of followers and putting out content. The person that is creating the content knows the hustle. The person that is only receiving or getting the content and liking it thinks that it's done quick, right? And everyone is watching, so you're successful. Now, there's two things that we need to understand also. Success and being famous are two different things, right?
Okay.
A lot of people think, because I'll still take Instagram as a reference. Just because I have a lot of followers, a bunch of people are talking about me, and you're seeing me out in the streets or doing stuff a lot, that makes me, or they put me in the category of I am famous, right? Just because a lot of people know me now. But that doesn't mean whatsoever that I am successful at what I'm doing. It's just that I am being out there a little bit more than what I usually do. Now, the thing is, what we're trying to do here exactly is most of the time we're trying to give the story of the person, we're trying to give the story of whoever you're talking to. That's when you realize, hey, these people are actually grinding. You know what I mean? They're actually making work or doing work or pushing for you to actually, I'm not going to say think, but for them to get to where the success is or where they think they're being successful. Because being successful for me is definitely not being famous on Instagram or on YouTube. Has totally nothing. Yes, I love, Instagram is all about attention. The internet in general is mostly about attention. So if you capture people's attention, the people receiving the information thinks that you're famous and then you're successful. It's totally not true. Have a lot of money and they're not maybe successful at what they want, but since you're seeing it, then you think they're successful. But the hustle and the amount of work that you need to put is wow. Sometimes I don't even know what to do with myself. I am not successful whatsoever. I'm definitely not famous. And I'm seeing the amount of work that I have to do, and I still have a long way to go. So going back again is we have to define what is success. Like, what do I consider as I am successful? What does it mean to me, and what does it mean to anyone else that is trying to get to that?
Is it a real generational thing? Because I've heard a lot that the fact that, our generation is, as opposed to, like, say, my daughter, the instant gratification thing, because you took a very good example as the pool of reference being Instagram. You want the instant gratification, you want the instant shot of dopamine, you want that like, as soon as you post something, you're expecting, like, okay, the 300 likes to come in, like, right out the window. But we understand that, there's a part of the process. There's part of, as you said, creating the hustle, the grind, and you understand that, you're shooting for the long run, not just for the now, but like for the 3 weeks from now, for 2 years from now. Is it our responsibility to keep on telling people, like, either you fall flat on your face and you understand, or how do we teach, people that, what? Patience is part of the process. Otherwise, it doesn't work any other way. I'm not sure if there is another way because that's all I know. But sometimes I'm really confused.
We all know patience is key because we have been doing it, and we realize that without patience and discipline, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, is it, I totally think it's something new because the internet is fairly new. So it's a new way of seeing things. But at the same time, you have the dilemma as 10 to 15 years ago, there was way less millionaires than now. Now there is a lot of millionaires, and we're talking about people that it's not their grandfather or their father that actually give them the power, or give them the money, or give them the business.
Generational wealth, yeah.
Exactly. This is no longer the case of what people, or I would say younger people, are seeing right now. Younger people are seeing, hey, I can be a blogger, I can be a podcaster, I could be a rapper, I could be a dancer, but as soon as I do it correctly and I have 1 million followers, I'm going back again to Instagram, then they think that's the real part of being successful. One person that I actually saw recently that said it, and said it correctly, and he explained it to, like, in a way that I was like, wow, I would never think about it. It's Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had what he was saying, that people really think that for the past, I would say 5 years, he just got famous. Like, he's like, boom, I am famous today. But he was saying he has 19 years in the game, and they've been telling him, no, you can't do this. That is not, your part. So he had to have 19 years of no until to get where he is right now. And then, of course, once the yeses are coming in, then you grow faster because you're getting pushed from everywhere. But a lot of people don't know about these 19 years. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know or remember what he used to do. There's some old movie that Kevin Hart has been in. Like, if I hadn't listened to this interview, I would never remember that he was in that movie. You know what I mean?
Soul Plane.
Exactly. Like, there's a lot of people, you could tell them Soul Plane, they'd be like, I've never seen this movie, but they'll tell you they saw anything else that he put out, like, recently. You know what I mean? But he did not became famous like yesterday. He had 19 years of work, 19 years of working on the craft, like we spoke about the last time. 19 years of doors, like asking, I want to do this. They tell him no. Like, I need to do this. And they tell him no. And it's not that when you look at the internet of what you found in for him, for example, you feel that actually, for the past 5 years, he's been just going up. You know what I mean? Kevin Hart is super famous now.
Yeah,
Right?
Heartbreak Media is all over the place, and you hear him is all over the place. Like, his people working for him, his entourage, his media, his marketing, Instagram following. He's basically like, he's set the wheels in motion to actually be where he wants to be. Hate on him as much as you want, but he actually is about it. He definitely says that with no remorse, and he totally deserves the recognition.
Oh no, definitely. I a lot of people, I know people that don't really like him. When I say don't like him, maybe doesn't like that they don't like his work or the way he, I would say, portray himself, and especially since he's been working with another big star like The Rock recently. And The Rock is one of the most paid actors right now. You know what I mean?
Forrest put that out, right?
Exactly. He took the place over of Will Smith. That was the one that was getting more money. Now it's The Rock. You know what I mean? But The Rock has paid his dues. And he speaks about that a lot of time. You have to be focused. You have to be disciplined. You have to hustle, really hustle, work hard. But here's the thing. If you do all of that and you're not prepared once the ball is rolling, you also have this issue because tomorrow something might happen and I get a push from someone that actually, for whatever reason, just give me a push. And the ball start rolling. But if I'm not disciplined, I do not really know how to hustle, right? And some people just want to sleep all the time. They're, the couch people that we talk about all the time. And when they try to give you a push, they don't go nowhere. And they will say, oh, it's just I'm not lucky, or God doesn't want me to be famous, for example, which is something that I've heard. I was like, really? That's what you think? Huh?
God doesn't want me to be famous.
Yes, God doesn't want me to be famous. I was shocked, but I just laughed and kept on walking because it made no sense to me. Right? So it depends on the vision, where you are, what you're doing, what you're really aspiring to, and what you have as role models. I really think about, like, people need role models. You need to know.
So?
Because here's the thing. Before, like, let me put my words correctly. You know how society was before? Basically, let's say my mom is a nurse, so my sister is, I'm not going to say forced, but most likely would become a nurse. And if my dad is a lawyer, then most likely I would become a lawyer. At this point, right, you know what your dad actually did to get there. And they will try to nurture you for you to get there, even if they're forcing you, if you like it. But at least you already have a path. So that person for you is like a role model, right? Now, if you don't have a path to follow and you cannot create your own path, then it's harder for you because people are scared of doing things and doing things for the long run. Everyone has short-term goals, but the long-term goals, either they are not being placed or they are not being, how could I say that? They're not being worked towards. Like, I could say, perfect example, losing weight. It's been 32 years. Everyone or anyone that knows me, for example, knows I have been fat all my life. Like, I'm not going to say that's never going to change, but I've always been the chubbiest of all the groups I've been in. I've always been the chubbiest of everyone that's around me, right? I'm 32 years old. It's been 32 years I have been pounding this body with sweet stuff, right? There is no way in 1 year I'm going to go ahead and take all that weight loss and not have some problems. Of course, I could spend a year going to the gym, doing diet. I'm going to lose the weight, but that's not, I am trying to do something so quick that at the end of the day, I might be sicker than how I was if I just kept losing weight a little bit. And people get frustrated because they don't see results.
Incrementally, right.
Exactly. People want to see, I want to do, that's why everyone pays, for example, they see a 3-month program and lose 50 pounds and they go and buy it. You know, that's not going to work. You don't have that mentality. You don't have that grind. You don't have that, I got to wake up at 5. Yeah, you do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but then without the discipline, you leave it and then you get sometimes more weight on, for example, and you get frustrated with yourself because you did not make the goal that you set up to make, which was, let's say, 20 pounds in a month or 2 3 months. So
Unrealistic expectations.
exactly, a person at the gym would ask, you see the guy buff, and you've been there for a few months. You say, hey, how long you've been like really hitting it hard? They'll tell you about 2 or 3 years. And you think to yourself, first reaction, you're like, whoa, I gotta get 3 years in for me to look like you. First thing, your brain is saying, hell no, that's not gonna happen. Remember, your brain and your body are set up to actually, how they say this, it's set up to, I don't want to say save you, but it doesn't want you to hurt yourself.
Preserve.
Exactly. You're always like, if you're gonna fall, your body's gonna react for you to either put your hands on in front of you so you to not to fall too bad, or your body is made for survival. That's the word I wanted. Your body is basically triggered for your survival at all time. You go into the gym, it's not a comfort zone. You know what I mean? So your body is rejecting this weightlifting all the time, the cardio all the time. That's why when you
Why would we subject each other to pain?
Exactly. Your brain doesn't understand it. You know what I mean? When you tell someone, just switching real quick, when you tell someone, all right, you want to make some money? All right, I want you to stand up, go in front of these people and tell them a joke, make them laugh. If you are not prepared, or if you've never seen someone do it, or you never trained for it, that's not going to happen, because a lot of things could happen. Anxiety right away. You might not be able to say one word.
You choke.
Exactly. But if you had sat down, I would say a few months before, a year before, went to see people at the comedy show, talk to the people at comedy show, going back again for the role model. You have someone you are following, you asking advice that could tell you, this is how I did it. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. Just use your own words or do different things. Then maybe if the opportunity comes in, you could go ahead and like kill it on stage. You know what I mean? But there's no way, unless you're a natural. I've seen this before. Unless you are a natural, and that's not a problem, you could go ahead and hit it and kill it. But we're talking about that's 1% of the world. That's not going to happen to everyone.
Because it's all about, and I really appreciate you mentioning that, the entire aspect of opportunity and the fact that, listen, planning, because I'm really like, taking notes on what you're saying right now, because you hit something on the head in terms of both expectation, keeping them realistic, planning, which is important, because again, you have to be, have an overall idea of actually where you want to go, but also opportunity, be ready to seize that opportunity. Because again, we're going to go back to obviously the 8 Mile movie from Eminem. You have to be ready for that moment, when somebody actually hands you a hand, because I believe seriously, and I really truly believe that in my experience, when people see you hustling, genuinely hustling, and actually putting in the work, chances are somebody's going to recognize, game recognized game, right? Somebody's going to see you hustling, and somebody is actually going to lend you a hand, because, game recognized game, and somebody is willing to actually lend you a hand, and you have to be ready to seize that opportunity and not mess it up, because somebody is going to hand you the ball. And as you mentioned, comedy is actually a very good example. You get up on that stage and you choke. You weren't ready. You really have to have that mentality. That's what I'm hearing.
If you're not ready and they throw you out there, then that's where you're really going to fall and like really mess everything up. Now, if you take the path as in we're slowly building everything, at some point going slow, like we're talking about, someone will give you the hand or something will happen and you'll just speak up. But again, you have to be ready for it. I don't remember what podcast I was listening to the other day, and he was saying, don't be a good salesman, just have a crazy work ethic. As in, when people see you, they're like, yo, Olivier is grinding. Like, that's all he does. Doesn't matter that he's good as what, like, don't have people see you as you're good as what you do, at what you do. Sorry. It's basically you are a real grinder, as in
the hardest worker in the room. The Rock said it, the hardest worker in the room.
That's it. And people will see that. And if someone doesn't see it, they will feel it, and that attracts people. Okay, that attract people to come towards you and be like, yo, I see you're doing a good job. How about I link you up with Olivier? Maybe he can get you on the podcast, and from the podcast, you might, I don't know, X will listen to it, and from there you just blow up. You know what I mean? But
Everybody resonates. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just saying, but if you're not prepared, example, to come to the podcast with Olivier, then you're messing up. Or you get to the podcast and you don't know what you're talking about, then again, you're messing up.
You're messing up. You're messing up.
Next,
You missed that opportunity. And
exactly.
what I was trying to say is that the thing is, when you know, if you because a lot of people may not resonate with perfection because perfection is like it's its own concept. Because some people are really picky about the type of content, the type of work they want to put out. But everybody resonates with hard work. Like you think like the podcast is the perfect example. Like this thing, I keep telling everybody it's a work in progress. And a lot of times I'm scared to death as to what I'm doing, like, what am I doing? Like, editing and audio and schedule and all that stuff. But I'm grinding. I'm not stopping because I can't stop. Because in my head, like, I'm just like, pushing through and pushing through and pushing through because this is what I have to do. Because I know if I just sit here and just overthink it, nothing gets done. And there's no worse feeling than to just sit around and wasting your time. I'm sure you've experienced that both in your photography and your business. You understand that the grind needs to happen. It's a day in and day out. It has to be a continuous thing.
Oh no, definitely, definitely. Because there's some days like you just don't want to work. All right, you just don't want to do anything. You want to lay down, watch, I don't know, the whole day Netflix, eat whatever you want, and just chill. But at some point during the day, if you're really a grinder or you're really someone that works hard, you actually start feeling bad that you did not do anything during that day. And that's the first way I knew that I was a hustler or a grinder. Because when I don't do what I am supposed to do, then I'm gonna feel bad. Same thing. If I get my routine, for example, to go to the gym, and for some reason one day I decide I'm not gonna go to the gym, I'm just gonna go drink with my guys and have fun and talk, and we're just gonna have some fun. Yes, I am having fun with my friends, and I get back home. I just have this one thing on the back of my head that says, Steph, you should have gone at least 30 minutes to the gym, 45 minutes. That would not kill you, and then go have those drinks. You know what I mean? Once you're a grinder, anything that doesn't go with what you are supposed to do is gonna make you feel bad about yourself. You know what I mean? You're just gonna not gonna like it. But then again, some people right there, they just decide, all right, I did not do it, then I'm gonna stop completely. But then there's the real you that comes in and says, all right, I messed up this day. Let's work it out and for it not to happen again and make better decisions. You make decisions like every second. Thinking about what you're gonna say, it's a decision of I'm gonna say this instead of this right now. Like what we're doing right now. I'm just having the decision of telling you this is what's going on. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So your decision depends on, again, the goals, where you want to go, what you want to achieve. And I personally think one of the things that people are missing is the goals. You have to write them down. I have said that several times in all my podcasts, and most of the people I try to have contact with, set up your goals, man. Just write something. Doesn't matter what it is. And then after you write it, work towards it and make it bigger. Because once you hit one goal, trust me, you're not gonna be satisfied. It's the same thing. If I get $100 today, I'd be like, I got $100, but then I want $1,000. You know what I mean? Then I have to work harder. Then after 1,000, I want 10,000. So I
Hmm.
have to keep grinding. After the 10,000, I'm already seeing, all right, I can do 10, then I can do 100. Then I'm talking about millies. So it's 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 a lot of work. Personality has a lot to do with it, I think, because a lot of people are, depending on your personality, there's stuff that you are willing to do and not willing to do. But first thing first, man, write up your goals. And really, when you write a goal, you have to work towards it. At least every day, you have to do something that goes through it. And I think I said it several times the last podcast. Discipline is key. If you are not disciplined, people, you will not get anywhere. When I say any,
Okay.
everything will fall. All right, you will just fall. Everything will crumble if you're not disciplined, man.
Consistency.
Consistency. That's the word we were talking about. Consistency. If you're not consistent, it's not. You will get at a certain point. Like you would actually achieve something, but it's not gonna be what you really wanted, or you're gonna feel like you did not do enough. So that's always gonna come back as in you're feeling bad and two things going to happen again. Either you're going to quit or you're going to try to go ahead and hustle again and try to get where you're at. I'm pretty sure, you and me, like I said, I know you because I've heard your podcast the first time, right? I'm like, a great idea, everything. I am pretty sure that there is someone that started the podcast the same time you did or the same time I did with more or less same content that is doing way better than what you are doing right now.
Oh, for sure.
Right? We are clear about that. Right now,
For
there's
sure.
someone who's working harder than what we're trying to do right now. We're clear about that. Doesn't mean that you're not putting in the work, right?
That's true.
Now, that person might have done something that really clicked in, or I don't want to say they worked harder, but maybe they worked a little bit smarter or got some information from someone quicker that person might come to your life next week, for example.
For sure. For sure.
But we keep on working. We're not going to stop. You have to be consistent.
You got to keep on working. You got to keep on working. I can only run my path and seize my opportunities and put out my content for my ideas. This is my journey, and I can learn from you. I can learn from somebody else, but at the same time, at the very end, it's up to me. It's my choice. It's really my choice. You've done a lot of coaching, you've done a lot of mentoring, you've done a lot of workshops, and of course, both on a client basis and on a business basis. What are some of the mistakes or the common, I would say, excuses that you hear? You know, because we're always talking about people getting better because we want people to move better through these conversations, right? What are some of the common mentalities? Because you said mindset has a lot to do with it. So what are the common excuses that you hear going around? You know, not just like, you know, God hates me type of thing, but, you know, it's all about, ensuring the grind. But what are some of the excuses you hear from time to time?
Well, you do know what the first excuse is. It's, I don't have time, right? I do not have time for it, or I did not have the time, or I could not do it that point. Not having time to me is totally BS. There is totally no difference between the 24 hours that The Rock has with the 24 hours that Stéphane has. It's the exact same 24 hours. Now, what we do with that 24 hours is totally different. The Rock wakes up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. I don't. You know what I mean? Now, when he says he works out 2 times a day, I don't. First thing I'm going to tell you is I don't have the time to do that. Why? Because I don't wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning to do it.
Mm-hmm.
First thing is people always say they don't have time to do things. Second thing is, the best one is, I forgot. I love this one. They always forget. Like, really?
It's important to you, but you forgot. It matters to you, but you forgot.
That's where I come in and say it did not matter to you then. You know what I mean? Because if it really mattered to you and you written down, this is what I want to achieve, and it matters to you, you're going to do it no matter what. That's it. You're going to do it no matter what. But if you're saying, I didn't have the time to do it, or I forgot, or, well, I'll do it some other time, which is the other good one that we know.
I'll do it later.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me just get this done. I'll do it later. Exactly.
So that's where people actually fell on, or they don't understand something and just they decide, nah, I'm not going to do this anymore because Stéphane said I should have done this. I try to do this, and I had no, I said 3 things. You only did 2. Where is the third thing? Like, what happened to the third part? That's where you're going to start seeing results. But they're like, nah, I didn't have the time, or I couldn't do it. For whatever reason there is, it's not done, right? And then they blame it because they did not finish the process. Believe in the process, people. That's what you need to do. Believe in the process. The process is here. Go through it. Make sure you understand it. Learn from the process. And then just repeat. And I am sure things will go good. That's it. That's all. That's what I know. It works, and it have worked for me. Sometimes I also say the same thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. Oh, most of the time I say I don't have time. We're clear about that. I know you do. Mm-hmm. You say it, or you blame it on the kids, or you blame it on work.
Yeah, the kids. The kids have been my de facto excuse for quite a long time. But I've waded through it. You know, I've balanced it out in my fair share. But from time to time, no, I can't record tonight. Like, you know, the kids are just like, you know, sucking the life out of me.
I didn't want to put you in the spot, but these are
No, but it's true. We totally understand. We're all about vulnerability here. This podcast is totally about, like, telling real talk, real conversations about real life. This is where we are. We're in a safe space. Totally, totally. I totally get it.
so these are, I would say, the that I don't have time for me is just funny. Like, again, you don't have time because it's not your priority. You don't have time because you don't really want to do it. You're just forcing yourself to do it.
There
Forcing
you go.
yourself, good. Because once you force yourself to do something, then after you did it, again, two things are gonna happen. You're gonna be like, oh, that was pretty easy. You know what I mean? And then next time I'll just do it first. Or you'll be
Mhm.
like, that is not good. I don't like this. I'm never gonna do this again. So you always have the choice in deciding. And that's where people lose themselves, because some people think I want to be a photographer and they start for a few months, they learn a few things, but nothing. They didn't get no client, they can't shoot, they don't get anything out of it, and they just decide, you know what, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. But hey, where's the consistency part? If you
Oh,
really
I'm a
work
bad photographer. When's the last time you shot something? Oh, I don't
exactly.
have any clients. I didn't ask you when the last time you shot a wedding and the last time you had a client. When's the last time you shot something? When's the last time you actually grabbed your camera, went outside, and made a picture? It's
Right.
like, well, yeah, there you go.
No, they'll
Chances are that's why you.
they'll say I tried, 2 3 weeks ago I tried, but I could not shoot because the person did not come. Or every time I speak to a client, they don't accept what I offer, or for some reason we can never connect, or we can never shoot at the time. There's always an issue. Hey, move on to the next. Try the
Next
next.
client.
That's it. Move on to the
Next
next.
client. Next
Learn
client.
the reason why this client told you no. Learn the reason why the second client told you no. Learn the reason why the third client told you no. You are going through the process. You are learning throughout the process. On the fourth client, you need to figure out something. You know what I mean? If you go through three people, you didn't learn anything, you get to the fourth person and you're still not learning anything and doing any progress, then
You missed something.
exactly. It's not that you are not good at it or you cannot do it. It's that there is something going on. You so far haven't found what it is. And you need to grind, to work and learn through it, to figure out what is it that I'm doing wrong for me to get at the level that I need to get. So
You can only do by doing. You can only do by doing. I genuinely, genuinely keep telling this to a lot of people. And I thank you for putting that up. See, the same way you said it. You haven't done it. Like, not having time for me, when you tell me I don't have time, because like you said, everybody has the same 24 hours. Okay. Special circumstances notwithstanding, where we're just talking about everybody has the same 24 hours. What you do with those 24 hours is totally up to you and totally your responsibility and totally your choice. Okay. Whether waking up in the morning, whether you're going to put, what you're going to have for breakfast, what you're going to do, what route you're going to drive. Are you going to record? Are you going to write that blog? Are you going to work on that book? Are you going to are you going to send out that painting? Are you going to make those cold calls? Are you going to make that sale? Are you going to connect with those people? Are you going to stop smoking? It is your choice. It's not easy, but it's that simple. It has to matter enough to you to take action. And if you're telling me that, the de facto excuse is that you don't have time, I just hear it was not important to me at the time. And you also need to speak the words of truth and to admit that to yourself. Sometimes it's not fun. And I think that there's a lot of lack of accountability going on in that I don't have time.
no, that's exactly what it is. Hey, it happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We're in that
No,
bag.
not perfect. No, we're definitely in that bag, obviously.
But I have learned that if you do a little bit, like just a little bit more, they're always talking about the 5% of the world that do extraordinary things or just decide. There is what I call, going out of what we're talking about a little bit, the inner conversation that you have with yourself. And I actually learned this about a year ago. And it's so amazing how things changes when you can have conversation with yourself. Example, what I'm talking about, talking to myself. Normal thing. 5 p.m. I'm supposed to go to the gym, right? I just had a long day. Like, clients are not coming out. I'm not getting paid. My employees are killing me. Like, all the projects I wanted to do are not going through. Last thing I want to do, to tell you the truth, is going to the gym. Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to go home, have a beer, go to a buddy and talk, and I don't know, play PlayStation, something you want to do, that's not gonna go to the gym.
For sure.
But your body is telling you no. but you know for a fact, you know, and you feel it that you should go to the gym. And I feel it all the time. When I don't want to go to the gym, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And something just clicked, and I've learned this that says, Steph, you need to go to the gym. That's it. Just go. Don't think about it. We're not gonna put this. We're not gonna argue about it. I'm talking about as an I am talking to me. You know what I mean?
Just get up.
Exactly. I'm putting myself in the third person so you can understand. I know I'm telling myself I don't want to go to the gym, and something else is telling me, sir, stand up, go to the gym. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Don't debate it. Just go. Just do it.
Exactly. This is where the 5% of the world make things happen. Right. That's where exactly we click. We just do one more thing that Olivia didn't want to go to the gym today, but I'm going to go either way. Even though I don't feel good, I'm going to go either way. And then I'll go to Olivia's house and, do something else. But at least I did it. And that's when you have to figure out when your body or your mind are telling you the no's, you have to figure out, okay, which one of the yeses are good for me and what did I decide? Because if you paid for the gym for you to go, you should go. And if you took the time to go for 3 weeks straight, why should you stop right now? Because you had a goal and you need to know what the goal is again. Remind yourself. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of what's my guy name? I forgot his name. Oh,
Gary V?
No. What's your why?
TD Jakes?
No. What's his name? Oh my God. He says, thank God it's Friday. It's Monday, TGIM.
Oh, E.T. the hip hop preacher.
That's my guy.
E.T. Eric Thomas.
Thank you, sir. When he said and have the speech of what is your why? First time I listened to it, didn't understand anything. Second time I listened to it, I was like, all right, he's on to something. So I listened again and again and again and figured out, once you don't want to do something, just ask yourself, why did I start the first place? Why did I start doing this? So you can get a reminder of, okay, I started because I wanted to lose weight, for example, going to the gym. No, I started because I wanted to feel better about myself going to the gym. So then you can click and say, you know what, let me stand up and let me just go and do this and get this done with. So talking to yourself, having this type of conversation is a very big thing that people need to learn. And 90% of the time, the world will tell you no of everything you want to do. That's why I love and hate the internet, because we all know the amount of distraction you have when you use your phone, for example. Everybody wakes up, first thing you do is look at your phone.
First thing you do.
First thing you do. It's just the habit now. I wake up, my alarm goes on, I sit, I turn it off. First thing I just check, what a notification I have. Either I receive an email or I receive, an Instagram notification or something I had to do. Maybe I don't go in, but I still look.
What is the relevance of this task right now at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever time you wake up and you're like, why am I doing this? You're having your coffee and you're just scrolling. Why? But you're right. This is the distraction of the day. This is what you do.
And the amount of distractions were a lot. It is a lot and a lot of distraction. It's not only the internet. It's maybe I don't want to look at my phone, but someone else will come and say, hey, have you seen this meme? I'm like, let me see it. You don't want to see it, but you're like, let me see it.
Well.
And from there, we're having a long conversation. I was supposed to do something, but we're still talking about this meme or the story or anything else. So these are other type of distraction that you have that you're not the one bringing it to your life. Someone else is. So you need to talk to yourself and decide, no, it's 6 a.m. I'm not going to look at the phone. I'm going to do something else, take my shower, be grateful, say thank you, look at yourself and say, that's one thing people know about me. I think I'm the sexiest guy on earth. Like people, a friend told me the other day, she's like, I don't know how you can be so confident about yourself. I'm like, girl, I'm the sexiest thing on earth. She's like, wow, like you are something else, right? That's just my mind state. That's how I am. The person I see in the mirror sometimes does not reflect how I think about myself. That's how it is. I just feel that I am way better. I look way better. I think we're better, and it makes me happy. And I'm a happy person most of the time. I get mad. I'm not gonna lie, and I try to do what I gotta do. Again, we fall short sometimes, but most of the time I try to have an inner conversation with myself. Steph, that is not what we're spoken about. You got to do this, 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 get through it, then do whatever you want, but get through it first. And I think that's the problem a lot of people have: no consistency, no discipline, and no goals. Or they think they have a goal, but it's not defined. They don't really know why they want it. People will
We're
tell you,
just going through the motions and just like, okay, aimlessly walking through, just like, yeah, it would be nice if, but are we precise? Are we firm on what we want? Is what you're saying?
yeah. I watch a lot of UFC and fights and stuff like that. And one of the things
Mm-hmm.
that they several times, they say, I visualize myself winning, right? I saw it coming. I've seen it before. So when they get in there and going to entertain us, they've already done that like 100,000 times in their head. So it feels comfortable. It feels easy at some point for them because they visualize it. A lot of people don't know how to visualize their goal. A lot of people say, I want to be you and I have friends. I am sure at least you have one friend that said when we were young, I will be a millionaire at 30. Tell me no.
For
Tell me you
sure.
don't have that
For
said
sure.
that.
For
Okay,
sure.
call him up right now. Ask him if he is a millionaire. He is not. Okay. I am 90% sure he is not, or she is not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it was not the first, or it was not his priority. That was not the main goal. That was the idea he has or she had. That was what they could have thought at that point that would make them happy. Like being able to say at 30, I'm a millionaire. Maybe at some point when you were 16, 17, 18, 20, 25, that's what would make you happy. But did you really do something to go towards getting that million? It's not impossible, but it's, again, it's the grind. You have to grind
It
for it.
takes a certain set of mindset, certain set of actions, and every action you take has to be aimed towards that goal. Otherwise, you're just saying it.
That's it. Or how they say it says, a dream is just a dream if you don't have a plan for it. So you're only dreaming because you have the dream. You're dreaming it because you think about it, but you don't do anything to get to that dream. So it's just a dream. There's no
A
plan.
dream without a plan is just a dream.
Then some people, and that's where we fall short again. Some people will have the dream, they have the plan, and that's where things get, I would say, complicated. Because once you have the plan, that where it becomes very hard. You have to execute. Okay, if you don't execute, that's it. You're not your dream still is just a dream with a plan, but it's not being executed. So at the end of the day, you did not do anything. You just had a dream, or you have a dream, but you haven't worked towards it.
Visualization, planning, action
That's it.
you have to have those three.
That's it. I know I talk a lot, but I always have the same thing with my friends when we were young. Um, when we would go out, right? Basically, I would be the guy that would go ahead and speak to the ladies and figure out. Let's say we're doing a 3-and-3. That's I have two other friends with me, so we three guys and we see three girls. I was the one that would go up. Hey, what's up, girls? My name is da. Just start talking and then invite my friends because they could not visualize it. They could not see how they would go through and like past the rejection. Of course, they're gonna tell you no. Who cares? On to the next girl. You know what? But I visualize me going there and say, "Hey, what's up? You guys want to hang out?" They'll say no. All right, next. They say yes.
Move
Well,
on.
we're having a great life. We're having a great night that night. You know what I mean? So visualize it and have the plan because I could see it. But if I don't walk towards these girls and say, "Hey, how you girls doing?" I'm executing my plan at that point because I know I have a rebuttal. If you say no, I have a rebuttal for you. So if we don't have all these steps and you can see it, visualize it, think about it, and decide, okay, let me put my right foot forward and go towards these girls,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind doing it. There's a lot of things I can't apply to that now. I can apply it, but I try to, I try to. Doesn't work all the time though. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course, not everybody has a plan to. What was it? I think I read that somewhere about Mike Tyson giving you a quote about everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Exactly. I mean, that is not something you were expecting, or you were not expecting that person will hit you so fast, so hard, without you even noticing. You know what I mean? So of course you have a plan, but the hard parts are the one you have to work through. And again, if you're not a grinder, if you don't know how to hustle, if you don't really know what hard work and dedication is, then it's not gonna happen.
It's not going to
And
happen. I really love how you touched on that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna
So
say,
many
and
questions.
the distractions are there for you not to make it happen. Because understand, again, I'm gonna let you talk, but I'm gonna go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No problem.
Even myself as a young entrepreneur, right? I am the one in the business. I am overseeing stuff. I am working with my employees. Not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I need employees or boss, however they want to call it. But I need my employees that don't see what I see or don't do what I do. So the distraction that they have, as in, okay, I'm going to come into work 9 to 5 for Stefan, and then I'm just going to go home and have fun. But sometimes they don't see that I do the 9 to 5, plus I work maybe 4 hours more at the house, plus
Mm-hmm.
Saturday clients are calling. I am putting in my work because I'm seeing towards a future that is way or something way greater than what I'm doing now. But the distraction are there for the other people that I need them. They can get distracted. I love when they get distracted. I'm fine with that because they will stay my employees and I can have them work for me as long as I
Mm-hmm.
want with that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's everyone because not everyone sees it. Even though I have chats with them, I talk to them. I even try to have my employees do business, like open their own business. Then
Mm-hmm.
I it's not gonna happen because of the distraction, the type of mentality that they have. They don't see it. They don't see the future. They don't have goals. They do what the society do: post some photos on the internet, say they were drinking this weekend, or they were having fun, or they're in fitness now, and then that's it. Monday they just come to work and do the 9 to 5 again, and then we're back on the same path. And then they tell you they're miserable after 10 years.
Some people are okay with the 9 to 5 because some people don't have that vision, they don't have that drive, they don't have that commitment or consistency, or they don't have that audacity to think like, you know what? If I visualize 5 years from now, it's like, okay, you know what? This is actually worth the effort. We were talking last year and you really pushed me. Like, did I tell you like, I'd be seeing myself 52 episodes down? Not really, but I'm like, you know what? The only way I'm gonna make this happen is if I start. If I don't start, I'll never know. We're actually just a year in, and this podcast has been doing really well, and I'm really happy. And you know what? I'm going to keep going because this is really important. And what I wanted to ask you like 2 seconds ago was just about the fact that, because we talked about motivation, we talked about dedication, commitment, but the element that is also part of the path of the entrepreneur, and I'm sure you've come across that experience in your own path. How do we deal with failure? Because you've said that a lot in a lot of examples that you put up. A lot of people just get discouraged, they get punched in the face, and then like, you know what? This is not for me. It's okay. Like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna sit this one out. It's like failure is part of it, isn't it?
Definitely. If failure is part of your success, there's no way you're going to get to what we're calling success, of what you see as being successful for yourself, if you haven't failed at something or in the process. You're never going to get there because it's part of it. People think, no, I'm a failure or I'm going to fail, then I'm not going to do it. You don't know what's going to come out of that. Same thing. Let's go back to the relationship or girls I was talking about. If I could not visualize myself as a girl telling me no, or if it never happened to me, for example, like first girl I talked to, we bond. Second one, we bond. Third one, we bond. If during my lifetime that's all that I know, and one day a girl says no, I will not understand what happened. Like you'll be shocked. You'll be like, wait, what? What do you mean no? You know what I mean? You have to go through this because at some point of whatever project you're doing, something is gonna go wrong. Nothing goes 100% as you were thinking about it. If it was this easy, like they say, everybody would do it. Okay, if you don't fail, knock yourself out unconscious, and then wake up and like, okay, what just happened, and work toward this not to happen again, then you will never be successful. You will get a glimpse of it maybe, or you think you are, but it's not gonna happen because you have to fail. Failure is part of your success. That's how you learn. That's how you figure out things, and that's how you also move forward. If you can't move, like they say, is it in Rocky? He said it's not how many times you fall down, but it's how many times you actually get up. I
You
think
have
that's
to
his.
get up. Yeah, you have to know how to get hit. Just like, no matter how many times you get hit, you have to know how to get up. And you put such a great example because you're just speaking my song now about like, girls and growing up. It's like, how many no's, like, because this was always my running gag, just growing up, just being a youngin and just like, trying to court the ladies and going to the house parties and going to the programs, just like, hey, what's up? You know how many no's you collect over the years? To a certain point, you're like, you gotten used to so many no's, you have like, a boatload of rebuttals. So eventually, you realize that first of all, it ain't so bad. You actually learn to develop a shell, and you realize, you know what? You move on. It's like, hi, well, that's no. It's like, hi, no. Okay, fine. You move on because guess what? It's not the end of the world, and you always find another alternative. You find another strategy. You find another way to actually, get towards your end goal. And these steps are part of life. This is part of the legacy. This is part of your baggage. This is part of your wisdom, which should actually bestow on somebody else. And like, you help somebody out, you pay it forward. It has to be part of the process, I think.
No, definitely. Again, we're going back and forth a lot, but like I was saying earlier, your brain and your body do not want you to hurt yourself. And failure for your brain and your body is basically hurting yourself. But you know what's as crazy as that is that imagine your brain and your body fighting for you not to fall or not feel bad or hurt yourself. Then, as a kid doing experience or as a teenager, you have your mom and your dad or your family doing the same thing, trying for you not to fail or hurt yourself in any way. You'll be emotionally in relationship. They will try to give you advice, maybe good, maybe bad, depending on the person you were with, right? But if you can't decide yourself, as in this is what I'm gonna do, it's not gonna work because your parents are telling you something and they're trying for you not to get hurt because they got hurt when they were young. They understand how it is, but you also have to do your experience, right? So
Hmm.
you have already this your what I call your support system is trying for you not to get hurt. Your mind and body is trying for you not to get hurt. At this point, I understand why people just shell up and stay at one point of their life and never move forward because that's all doing your whole life. Again, that's why I think personality comes in. That's when you decide not everyone is really a grinder or a hard worker. They do the bare minimum. And
And
then
that's okay. If that's you, then be you and accept that about yourself.
100%, but don't cry about I'm not famous, I'm not successful, I don't have the amount of money that I want, I'm not in the relationship that I want because you haven't done anything. I love when people, especially girls in Haiti, I've spoken to, and you hear them say there isn't enough guys in Haiti for them. You've been single for about 2 years. You don't go out. You dress like I don't know what, right? Your hair's not done. Your personality doesn't say, "Hey, I can speak to her." Or how do you think you're gonna get into a relationship? Like, it doesn't work magically, as in, "Hey, the Prince Charming actually came to see you and kiss you when you woke up."
Real
These are
talk.
Yeah, these are cartoons. All right, these are cartoons. You need to put yourself out there. They usually say, and I know a lot of people don't like to talk about money in some way, but this guy said, "Poor people are not attractive." Right? Rich people, and if we're not gonna use the word rich, we're gonna say successful or famous people, or the most.
Hmm.
Now, if you don't work on,
Affluent people. There you
yeah,
go. Affluent people.
now if you don't work on yourself for you to give that same vibe to anyone else that you encounter, then you're gonna stay where you're at and be how you are. Again, it's fine with me if that's what you want. Just don't complain after that you could not do or did not do what you really wanted to do because you never act upon it. You have to have a goal, you have to have the plan, and once again, you have to execute. While you execute it, you learn until you figure out how you're going to get to that goal.
You have to execute. You have to project yourself in that mindset. It has to be an active responsibility and an active accountability on your part that, you know what, this is your destination. Again, about planning and not just complaining. It's important. Planning and complaining are not the same thing. You're allowed to be disappointed. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be, a little bit, disillusioned with the fact that it's taking so much time. These feelings are perfectly natural in my experience, but don't be irrational about the fact that, you know what, I'm not getting what I want. Did you put in the work? Did you put in the time? Did you put in the logical expectations, or do you just want to complain? Because sometimes you're like, complaining feeling is feel good, but because I'm sure you've experienced those people. Some people, and I'm trying to be very, very understanding, but sometimes I just, just let my frustration out. Some people want to validate themselves through their own complaining because as long as they complain, It's just that their own, logical justification of the fact of things not going well. As long as I complain, I don't have to deal with the fact that I'm not putting in the work. You know?
That's you can complain, and especially if you find someone to complain to, because you have to have a complaining squad. Like I have friends. We all have. Think about it. We all have different friends. I have friends, to tell you the truth, that I only go out with. That's it. That's what we do. We just go out. That means I know these guys or these girls or this group is we go out, we have fun, we eat, we drink, we dance. That's it. I have friends that we only talk business. That's what we do 24/7. Every time we get together, it's not about, dancing. It's not about going to the hottest club or doing anything. It's
It's not
basically
the World Cup. It's not that. No, it's business.
no, we're talking about business 24/7. I have other friends that what we talk about is life, relationship, wife stuff, kids. I don't have kids yet, but I still talk about kids when I think about it. I'm the only one with no kids, so I have my right. So everyone, if you think about it, you all have different friends that you have to hang out with at a certain time. And for example, for me, my time right now is I want to spend time with the friends that I am talking business about, because that's what I'm aiming for, having a better business, making more money, knowing more people, understand what's going on in the world, business wise. So I am spending more time with these friends these days because that's what is part of my brain is telling me this is what you need to do, because you set up some type of goal. You know what I mean? But hey, when it comes to the day that I want to party, I know who to call. You know what I mean? I know. All right, let's just call these people because they're
You got your party squad.
Exactly. One of them is either having something at the house, or you just call up and say we're going out, and they're gonna say yes.
I got you. I'm gonna pick you up in like 20 minutes. I know exactly where to go. It's like, we got this. Let's make it happen.
That's it. And at the same time, the people that are complaining, they have these type of friends that they know that can go to and say, you know what, my boss is the worst boss ever. I hate my job. I hate my life. And the person that listening is like, I feel you, I understand what you're saying. And the person, like you said, validate their state, because someone else is saying, yeah, that's true. I understand. Bosses are bad and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They find people to actually push them and actually feel good about themselves while they're complaining. Now, is it wrong? I don't know. But that's not my style. That's not how I want to live. That's not how I see things. I have friends that have asked me advice. I try to give my best advice, but you see that they don't act upon it. Then I'm just, next time you ask me for advice, I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you.
I'm good. Yeah. I don't really know how to, no, let me just,
That's it. That's how you do. You don't know. You just don't want to be part of it. And people are always, and I knew they had told me that, but I never understood. Once the older you get, the less friends you have. And I'm like, come on. I know like 1,000 people. How am I not going to have 1,000 friends when I grow up or get older? My circle is getting very, very small.
very small. Very small.
Very small and selective. And not that I have a problem with anyone else, because people that know me, I'm a very open-minded person. If I am somewhere, Stéphane is there, because I'm a loud person. Like I'm
it's like, I know that.
I curse a lot, sometimes, and when I am on party mode, I'm on party mode. So if I'm somewhere, I'm there. It's either you're going to see me and say, oh, I don't like this dude, because sometimes I come out arrogant. People tell me, but then when they learn to know me, they're like, yo, you're a super cool guy. And I'm like, I know. You know what I mean? I know. It took you some time to figure it out. Right? But hey, if people want to complain and not do anything about it, go ahead. But that time, I hope I am where I want to go and enjoy my successfulness, I guess, and be happy. We all have to be happy. If complaining makes you happy, correct, great, go for it. If working hard makes you happy, then be part of this group. Listen to these podcasts. Get better to yourself, with yourself. Learn how to talk to yourself to get shit done, and just make things happen, man. I love
things happen.
Love hustlers, because we can share something. There's something to talk about. When you're only complaining and you're just asking me, right? These people are bad, and I only saying yes. There's no conversation. I'm just making you feel good. That's it. Nothing else. And that's not what I'm.
Stuff to elevate you.
Exactly. You need people that are pushing you, making you see different things, and go other places. Because again, some people like where they are. We're not against it. All right, that's not what we're trying to say here. We're not against you people, but we're seeing stuff differently, and a lot of people are might never listen to it, but once you listen to what we're saying and really understand it, then I'm pretty sure you'll take the few steps necessary to go towards your happiness or your goal.
It's all about your why. It's all about your why. Why exactly do you want to get there? And does it matter enough to you to make a step forward? Does it matter enough to you to actually, just change your mindset, change your life, And if you cannot find a significant enough reason, if it doesn't matter enough to you, you also need to be accountable to that. You also need to accept the fact that, you know what, maybe it's just not important enough to me to actually, not binge, or like, not going to food and not going to shows and not be distracted. It has to be your own decision and you have to own up to that. But also at the adverse, don't hate on people who actually are. It's like if I'm doing my grind, if I'm doing my thing, okay. I put out a tweet about that like a couple of days ago. Like, listen, it's often enough some people would rather see you, would rather slow you down than catch up, you know?
Yep.
So
Exactly.
it's a very harsh truth, but it's true. You have to be careful who exactly who was addressing you and who's putting toxicity in your environment because I'm going to say it again. Some people would much rather slow you down than make the effort to catch up. And sometimes it's not the people you think, but you really need to understand what you're hearing and to stay focused on your goals. Again, about planning and staying true to your course of action.
If you said one word, and I think this is again one of the most important word people need to understand and learn about accountability. If you're not accountable to what you are doing or not understand that this is why this happened because I did not do this, or only thing you do is blaming someone else, or you're in for trouble. Like you are really in for trouble. That's how it works. That's the way it's gonna be, and that's it. Accountability is a big word. People don't understand it or don't try to manage it or don't like really use it. But you have to be able to back yourself up. At the same time, you need to be able after I go ahead and say, Stefan, good job. I need to be able to say, yo, Steph, you messed up, bro. Like you should have done this. You did not do it. So you have to, know what it means, and your actions need to like show people what you really wanted to do. Not being accountable for what you're doing is something that a lot of people go through, and what we want to do is, what they say. You have to blame someone, and you can't blame yourself, right? If anything
It's always
happens,
everybody else. It's always
exactly,
everybody else.
something happens tonight. Of course, this podcast was crap. That was only his fault. That's not Stefan's fault. Stefan was great. You know what I mean? I got to blame it on someone. I can't be
Hmm.
all the time blaming myself. No, it was your fault, Ollie. You already know. If something happened, it's your fault, not mine.
It's
All
my
right.
fault. It's all totally my fault. Totally,
That's,
totally on me.
that's how it works. Unfortunately, people need to understand these kind of words. And if they don't, then hey, life will go by. You will live. They won't die, huh? They
The
might
word is
not.
going to keep turning anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's how it works, man. I love, like, I never thought I would. I always say I should have studied psychology, because God, a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that tell me their problems, if I want to call them like that, or their projects, which is the happy part. But I've never asked them about, like, I never said, tell me about da. It just comes up. I don't know. People have that vibe that I guess they get from me,
They just
that
gravitate towards you in that sense.
they just want to tell me stuff. And I do my best, give you advice, tell you about my stories. I talk a lot, so I guess that's why also people want to talk to me. So I do my best to talk to them and give them advice, but I don't know. I should have studied psychology. I might understand life another way. I try my best, to listen to podcasts, hear some, motivation, people understand what they say. But I should have. I should have actually go to psychology. It's not too late, but I'm not going back to school. Hell
It's
no.
never know. You never know. You never know. You're the one who told me, like, in a past recording, like, you cannot, you don't just have to be just one thing. As hey,
Yeah,
like you said, you got some mileage ahead of you. You never know. You never know. You never
true.
know.
I might learn it some other way, but definitely not going back to school.
Not through the traditional channels, obviously.
No, that doesn't work for me. I am not that type of learner. I'm a visual person, and I need you to tell me like 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, when you say 1x plus 1 is 24, wait, what just happened? We need to figure x out and how the heck that went to 24. So I don't
So
have time all around
no,
this.
no, it's like, what do you mean imaginaries? I don't get it. Like, minus. How did we end up at like minus? What do you mean? Like, the domain imagine? Like, no, no, this doesn't happen. This like minus 24. No, no,
No, I'm
doesn't
not.
work. Like,
That
no.
I think we could go so far and quicker education wise if you change a lot of stuff, like the way we teach, the way I know I'm going way out of topic, but it's like it. I don't know, man. The society has a way of educating people that I don't think it works. It doesn't work.
It's
Like
archaic. It's long since like, just it's amazing. Like there's so many other ways to teach and for so many other ways to learn. We're really, 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 really not putting in the time and the effort necessary to teach our future generations how to properly not just, assimilate information, but transmit information at the same time. And with so much information going around, you're so right. How we learn, what we learn, and why we learn has to be, a dynamic that people need to pay much more attention to.
definitely, and everything is changing very fast, so you need to be able to, I would say, fix problems and understand what's the next step quicker than how they had like showed you how to do math. Because that no one explained to me I was doing math for me to actually resolve problem. They told me you got to learn your table. 2 by 2 is 4, and that's it. And they never said like this helps you understand stuff and then figure out the solution if there's a problem. But there is like I had this conversation with a friend, well, with my associate the other day, again going out of topic. I think instead of going 4 years in college, if you only really only had people in class and tell them, okay, this is how you network, right? This is how you speak to people in a matter for them to understand what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
They talk to you what exactly, because the world, unfortunately, the world go around because of money. Okay. And they actually sit down and tell you this is money. You will have to go to the bank and open a bank account. You will have a credit card that has this percentage. If you don't pay your credit card, then you're going to get in debt. And they explain to you what debt is, right? And they give you the whole shebang of networking, business, money, how to get money, how you can lose money, how to get more money, and how to invest. Instead of giving you all the other crap that you're having in the university right now, I think we
Mm-hmm.
have a way better world. And I would like at least they do 6 months of figuring out, making people figure out what exactly makes them happy. What exactly is happiness on their state? Because me having a Ferrari makes me happy. But at the same time, or my brother or someone I know, them having nothing and live in a small house in the mountains, that's what they makes them happy. They don't need the Ferrari. They just want that small house,
They
having
just want that small house.
that's it, house, cows and chicken, and that's it. They are happy people. So they need to let us know, like figure out or explain to us what is happiness, how you can figure out what makes you happy, and from there, your job is to work towards it. Doesn't mean you have to be a billionaire. Doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with someone. Doesn't mean you have to get married, for example. You know what I mean? It's not mandatory. Society put it mandatory now, but yeah, these are the things I think we should educate people on. Not, I don't know. Let's leave education at this point because it's gonna be a whole other podcast.
I totally hear you, dude. I totally hear you because at a certain point, the society needs to understand that, there are skills, basic skills, what used to matter in an agrarian society versus an industrial society. Now we're in a technological society and information society. Knowledge is what, we need to arm our children with, personal finance, personal development, growth, business management, networking, finance again. You just need these basic skills, right? And again, these are stuff that, okay, even when you get to the university level, a lot of people aren't focusing on the fact that this is stuff that, kids have to learn. These are things that you need to manage, like, programming and coding. These are things that they need to get their hands on. But unfortunately, it's not making the curriculum. But you're right, it's just like, we're definitely, see, right now you just gave me an idea for another podcast. Let's just table this for now. Let's just write it down. And then we're going to get back into this because there's some meat here. There's definitely some meat here. Definitely something like, you and I can exchange on. Definitely, man. Unfortunately, we're reaching up to the top of the hour, Steph. Man, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I really do. It was a really fun recording. And man, I really knew I had the right person, to get on board and actually just, shoot the breeze with over all these questions and these realizations. Because it's all about, sometimes you're just excuse the expression, brain farting, and you're just like, why is this? Why am I hearing so much about people want to be entrepreneurs and they want to be successful, but they're not putting in the work, they're not putting in the time, they're not being focused, they're making excuses. And I'm like, you know what? This is why Stéphane definitely is a good resource. First of all, it's nice to talk to you, as always. But, you definitely have a great vision and a lot of energy that I really, really, really appreciate. So really, thank you for that, man. Really, thank you.
Thank you for having me on. If we stay on, Will speaks for more than 1 hour. So it's always a pleasure, man. I like people picking my brain. I like to pick people's brain. Like you said, I already know most of the things that we can keep on talking to and have another podcast for other things, because I already see where you're going and I have a bunch of example of a bunch of things I want to ask to see how you react to them. It's always good to have a conversation with someone that sees it. That's what I like. That's why every time we speak, we have a good time. You know what I mean? Because you're not complaining to me. I'm not complaining to you. If you saw something I mess up, I'm pretty sure you're like, yo, Steph, you're messing up on this. And I'm like, Oli, what the heck was that?
It's like, what was that? What was that? And it's nice to exchange because I don't have to be right. You don't have to be wrong. And it's all about exchanging. And this is what this podcast also is all about, man. Conversation, exchanges, and point of views. And this is what it's all about, man. It's like having different types of perspective, because you need to have not just your own outlook on life, but also be willing to open yourself up to another type of mentality, another type of mindset, because chances are Stéphane has a perspective that you never would have thought about, and you need to seize that opportunity to actually let that in.
How it works. Even though no one listens, let's say no one actually gets to this podcast, or this podcast for whatever reason never makes it to the internet crashes tonight, right? At least I just had a conversation with you. You pick my brain, I pick yours. You're seeing stuff differently. I'm already seeing stuff differently, so that's already a win-win for me and you.
That's a win. So, that's a win. Totally, man. Totally. Right back at you, man.
I'm just happy we had the conversation. I'm pretty sure other ones will come in. That's it.
Definitely, man. Seriously. As always, I always like to leave it up to the floor and the guests. A passing frenzy, a kind word, a good thought, just a call to action. What would you like to leave the listeners with?
I'm just going to say, be you, do you, learn what your happiness is really, and work towards it. Besides that, listen to this podcast. Oli's doing a great job, better than I'm doing. We'll talk about that later on. And that's it, man. Be happy, work towards you, make sure you're happy, and work toward your goals. That's it.
Oh, that's it. That's all it is. Stay consistent, stay committed, and stay true to yourself. Not a problem, man. Stéphane, I really appreciate it. This has been another episode of the Awaken the Awesome podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. He is Stéphane Bazin. Find him under bazinphotography.com or on the Instagram at sbazin or Bazin Photography. All the links will be added to the blog post for this episode once it goes live. Again, you guys, I am your host, Olivier D. And as always, wishing you a terrific evening. And as always, to stay awesome.